Georges Bizet was born in Paris, France, on October 25, 1838. His real name was Alexander César Léopold Bizet, but he is most commonly known as Georges Bizet. Bizet came from a family with a musical background. His father was a music teacher and composer, and his mother was a singer. Bizet's parents recognized his musical talent at an early age, and they encouraged him to pursue music. He began studying music when he was a young child, and by the time he was 9 years old, he had already shown exceptional skill at the piano. At the age of 9, Bizet entered the prestigious Paris Conservatory, where he received formal training in music. He studied under some of the best teachers of the time, including the composer and teacher, Jacques Lévy. Bizet showed great promise as a student and quickly gained a reputation for his talent. During his time at the conservatory, Bizet composed several works, including piano pieces and orchestral music. He was especially interested in writing music for the stage, and this interest would shape much of his career. After finishing his studies at the Paris Conservatory, Bizet struggled to find steady work. Like many young composers, he faced difficulties in getting his music performed and published. He often had to compose music for a variety of different projects to make a living. Bizet composed music for the theater, including incidental music for plays and ballets. He also wrote songs and orchestral works, but his most significant works were his operas. Bizet's first opera was titled Les Pêcheurs de Perles, which translates to The Pearl Fishers. It was first performed in 1863 and received a positive response from the audience. The opera tells the story of two men who fall in love with the same woman in an exotic setting. Although the opera was not a huge success, it was important because it showed Bizet's ability to write beautiful, expressive music. The opera's most famous piece is the duet Au fond du Temple Saint, which is still popular today. Despite the success of Les Pêcheurs de Perles, Bizet continued to face challenges in his career. His music was not always well received by critics, and he struggled to gain the recognition he deserved. He continued to compose music for various projects, but his focus remained on opera. Bizet's next big opera, Carmen, would prove to be his most famous and influential work. Carmen was based on a novella by the French writer Prosper Mérimée, which told the story of a passionate and tragic love affair between a soldier named Don José and a fiery, independent woman named Carmen. Carmen is a character unlike many other opera heroines. She is bold, free-spirited, and unwilling to follow the traditional rules of society. Don José, on the other hand, is a soldier who falls deeply in love with Carmen, but his obsession with her leads to tragedy. Bizet began working on Carmen in the early 1870s, and the opera premiered at the Opéra Comique in Paris on March 3, 1875. From the beginning, the opera received a mixed reception. Some critics did not like the story or the music, and many thought the opera was too modern for its time. The opera's characters, especially Carmen, were controversial as they were seen as immoral and unpredictable. Many people at the time found the music to be too passionate and intense. Despite the negative reaction from critics, Bizet believed in the opera, and he continued to refine the music. Sadly, Bizet did not live to see the success of Carmen. Just a few months after the opera's premiere, Bizet died suddenly at the age of 36. He had been in poor health for some time, and his death was a great loss to the world of music. Bizet's funeral was attended by many of his colleagues and friends, but it was clear that the full extent of his genius had not been fully recognized during his lifetime. After Bizet's death, Carmen slowly began to gain popularity. Over the years, it became one of the most famous and frequently performed operas in the world. The opera's music, with its unforgettable melodies and dramatic intensity, struck a chord with audiences everywhere. The most famous pieces from Carmen, such as the Habanera, the Toreador song, and the Flower Song, became widely known and loved by opera fans and casual listeners alike. The opera's themes of love, jealousy, freedom, and fate are still relevant today, and the characters of Don José and Carmen continue to captivate audiences around the world. One of the reasons Carmen became so successful after Bizet's death was its ability to break away from the traditional conventions of opera. Unlike many operas of the time, Carmen did not focus on the traditional themes of noble characters or tragic love. Instead, Bizet created a bold and unconventional story, where the heroine is not a damsel in distress, but a strong, independent woman who challenges societal norms. The music also reflected this boldness, with lively rhythms, colorful orchestration, and emotional depth. Carmen was a step forward for opera, showing that it could be a modern, dramatic, and relevant art form. In the years following Bizet's death, his music continued to inspire composers and musicians. Many artists admired the way Bizet was able to blend different musical styles and create something new and exciting. His music was particularly influential in the world of opera, where his dramatic use of orchestration and memorable melodies became an important model for later composers. Bizet's influence extended beyond opera, and his music was admired by many other composers. For example, the famous French composer Maurice Ravel, who is best known for his composition Bolero, was deeply inspired by Bizet's music. Ravel admired Bizet's ability to create music that was both emotionally powerful and technically impressive. Other composers, such as Claude Debussy and Erik Satie, were also influenced by Bizet's innovative approach to music. Bizet's legacy lives on in the many performances of his works that continue to take place around the world. His music is regularly performed in opera houses, concert halls, and festivals, and his operas remain some of the most beloved in the classical music repertoire. Bizet's Carmen in particular is frequently staged, with new productions being mounted in cities around the world. The opera's music continues to captivate audiences, and its story remains as powerful as ever. In addition to Carmen, Bizet's other works are also appreciated by music lovers. His opera Les Pêcheurs de Perles, while not as famous as Carmen, is still performed and admired for its beautiful melodies. Bizet's orchestral works, such as his L'Arlésienne Suite, are also performed regularly, and his music is often included in concert programs. Bizet's ability to express emotion through music was one of his greatest talents. His works are full of drama, and he had an uncanny ability to capture the complexities of human feelings in his compositions. Whether it was the intense passion of Carmen or the lyrical beauty of Les Pêcheurs de Perles, Bizet's music was always powerful and expressive. Bizet's music continues to be studied by musicians and musicologists. Scholars examine his works to understand his unique approach to composition and his place in the history of music. Bizet's work is often seen as bridging the gap between the older traditions of opera and the more modern developments of the 19th century. His ability to combine different musical styles and create something fresh and exciting makes him an important figure in the history of Western classical music. Today, Bizet's music is loved by audiences of all ages and backgrounds. His works are performed in many different countries, and they are a key part of the classical music canon. Bizet's contribution to the world of music is immeasurable, and his works will continue to inspire and entertain people for generations to come. Through his music, Bizet has left a lasting mark on the world, and his legacy is one that will never be forgotten.